Okay, I'm gonna do a video on something a little bit different that people probably know about, but they're kind of not aware about what this company does or what they do and why I really enjoyed the consoles they have produced so far and how I how I hope they somehow reprint these because or start up production again because I think a lot of people are missing out on these FPGA consoles by Analog. So I'm just going to talk about it today and hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. Bell button, all that good stuff, all notifications. You guys know the drill. Let's get on with the video. So, if you guys weren't aware of Analog and what they do, they basically make FPGA consoles. I'm not sure what FPGA stands for. It stands for like field programmable something array or something. I don't remember what it stands for. I'm not that tech savvy when it comes to like that kind of stuff. But in any case, they basically take that kind of the FPGA and make a core, and they've made a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, and a Sega Genesis so far. And all three of these have been sold out. They did one final run of the Super NT and Mega SG recently, but they're finally sold out, and I think they're done for now. They might do one final run because they did that before with the NES one, and that's how I got mine. I got mine during the one final run they did. So they might do another small run, hopefully. So if you didn't get one, you really should have looked into this because these FPGA consoles, while they do have issues, and I'll talk about some of the issues I've had with one of them in general, but for the most part, the three that I mentioned have been phenomenal, and I'm so glad I have them. And it's mainly thanks to my wife. My wife is, I, I think she bought me all of them, actually. Maybe not the Super Nintendo one, but I know, or the Sega. I know she bought the NES, which was super expensive, and I think she bought the other two. I don't remember though. So shout out to my wife for being cool with my stupid retro hobby that I enjoy. But anyway, let's get on with a little bit of issue I have with the Analog NT Mini Noir version 2. Yes, that is what they called the last revision. They called it the version 2 because the first release had like cartridge slot issues or something. I'm not really sure, so I can't really speak to if it did or not. But mine doesn't. But what the Analog NT does have issue wise is the latest firmware. The latest firmware does not work with a handful of games. Metroid, Mighty Final Fight, and I know there's a couple other ones, but Metroid and Mighty Final Fight are the two I have off the top of my head that do not work. Mighty Final Fight works if you plug it in to the Famicom slot with the Famicom to NES adapter, but no matter what I do with Metroid, the graphics are all garbled and it just doesn't function. It's like it's playable, but it's not because the graphics are really messed up. But the firmware before that, version 1.1, works fine with everything, including the Famicom Disk System, which that also had issues, which kind of makes me mad I didn't know that because I bought a second RAM adapter thinking my RAM adapter went bad, when in actuality it was the firmware itself. So it kind of sucks that Analog just kind of pushes all of their legacy consoles aside and doesn't really support them anymore with firmware. Because I emailed them and they said they would look into it, and that was like um, probably almost a year ago. So I don't think they're gonna look into it. I really don't. And I've tried contacting some of the jailbreak community and seeing if they could like figure out what's causing it. And people know of the issue. They just I don't think they care to fix it because it's not a huge deal. Because you can just roll back to 1.1 and it's fine. But that still doesn't take the fact that 1.2 obviously had a reason for it to exist. I'm not sure what the release notes said on 1.2, but in any case, 1.1 seems to be fine for me, at least for now. Like nothing I've thrown at it doesn't work. So, um, yeah, there's that. Now I totally brain farted on the other thing I was going to talk about with the NT Noir. But other than that little small issue, the system's great. Like, but it's a very premium system. It was $500. That's way too much. I really wish they would re-release it with a better price point and like a just a plastic shell like the other ones and release it at like 220 or something. Like I get it, it has two cartridge slots, one for Famicom and one for US, but like make it cheaper. Like $500 was a lot of money for my wife and I to like spend on that, but it was worth it. But at the same time, there's other alternatives to it, like just HDMI modding a Famicom or an AV Famicom or an NES, and just getting an adapter to play Famicom stuff and disk system stuff. So, like, there's other options out there, but I wanted it for the convenience for me, for my disability, so I didn't have to unplug and plug back in two different systems or whatever. Because I had an AV Famicom. That's one of the things I sold to help cover the cost of this thing. But the cool thing about the jailbreak community is you can play ROMs if you have your own collection of ROMs or whatever. You can play those through the SD card without the use of cartridges, which is pretty convenient for me as well. Now, the Analogue NT, I don't have the jailbreak firmware on there because I have my NES collection up here, so I just keep it on stock firmware 1.1. But I mean, that is super convenient to have that, and that's a really cool feature. And the nice thing is, Analog doesn't care really that people have like jailbroken and mess with the SD card slot function, because I think they knew that going in that would be a thing with it when the firmware is like updatable via SD card. They had to have known that would be a thing that people would look out to do is jailbreak it, which is fine because it's more convenient, especially when it comes to the Genesis or the Mega SG and the Super NT. Now these systems I do have the jailbreak on because I currently don't have my collection up here yet. My physical cartridges are downstairs in the basement still, but I have dumped all of my Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo cartridges that I could. All my SNES stuff I have dumped because the nice thing about the most recent jailbroken firmware with the Super NT is it actually has a cart dumper that can dump pretty much every cart you throw at it, even like the Super FX in Mode 7 and like other chipset games like Dragon Ball Z Hyper Dimension. That was one the Retro 2 couldn't read, so I had to use my Super NT to dump that. But I have all my games on an SD card, which is really convenient for me right now because while I prefer to play the physical cartridges, because when I was downstairs, that's how I'd play it. I would play the real cartridges. But since I'm up here, I don't have the luxury yet. I don't have another bookshelf because we plan to get another bookshelving up here so I can have the rest of my collection up here. That's what we plan to do at some point. But we just haven't gotten around to it. Shelving kind of annoying to put it together and stuff. It's not a huge deal, but I'd like to do it someday, but we'll get to it at some point. But same thing with Mega SG, that I have everything Sega Genesis wise on an SD card. And as well, I also have region free BIOS for my Sega CD Model 2 so I can play Japanese games. I only have one Japanese game. I have the Japanese version of Prince of Persia because the Japanese version's like way cheaper than the US version complete. So I just bought the Japanese version. Yeah, it's super cool. And moving on to probably my favorite console that I have from them so far is the Analogue Pocket. And you can still currently pre-order this. They should be shipping it near the end of this year because parts and just demand and part shortages and stuff like that. That's why shipping is taking so long. But the cool thing about this is it has 2 cores in it. One that runs the main like Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color core that it runs the cartridge off of. But it also has a second core where you can like side load other cores onto it, as far as I know. That's why the second core is on there. But there's cores for the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, Game Gear, Arcade, like Neo Geo. There's a ton out there. PC Engine CD even. Like the amount of stuff this thing can do when it's opened up is insane. And that's why I bought one. I actually bought one before I got the one I actually bought, which was the white one, which I don't remember buying the white one. I thought I bought the black one, but I guess I bought the white one. But I have another black one that I bought on eBay for like $300 or something like that. It was like $330 or something like that. Because I really wanted to play it because people were jailbreaking it and putting Super Nintendo, NES, and Genesis games on there. And they run pretty much just like the Super NT. And sometimes even better when it comes to SD card play. Because through the SD card, you can't play a game like Hyper Dimension on the Super NT because it needs the FPGA core itself, the chip itself, has to emulate and simulate that special chip. Through the SD card, it doesn't know how to do that. Even if you have like the BIOS file, because some of them, if you have like the BIOS file in there, it'll work, but that game, it just doesn't work. So that's really cool. And just the fact that you can play NES and even Famicom Disk System. Like I tried Famicom Disk System ROMs and they worked. That's literally insane. And that's probably the best system you can buy. And it's something I want to buy too. I'll probably buy it next month. But because I didn't buy it when I pre-ordered it because I just wanted to get my order in right away. And I didn't plan on ever using the dock for the system. But now since I stream a lot and, well, might want to just get footage of stuff for videos, it would be way more convenient and way more of a space saver to just have my Analogue Pocket dock over here and just have all my ROMs on the Pocket and just dock it and just play with the Pocket. Like, that's so convenient to me. And that's why I think this system is probably going to be their best selling system. And they're probably going to make a ton of them. At least I hope they do. Because if they don't and they completely sell out, this console will probably go up to like close to $1,000. I would think. And the only reason I say that is because of the versatility of it. How much it can do. And the last console I kind of want to touch on, but not really because it's not out yet, is the Analogue Duo. And that's their TurboGrafx and Turbo CD and PC Engine CD and Super CD console. And it's FPGA, of course. It's supposed to come out later this year. I might get one just because I have all the other ones. I feel like kind of have to at this point. Plus, there's a couple turbo games I want and PC Engine games I want, so I might get one. But the other cool thing with the Pocket that I forgot to mention is that you can actually buy adapters to play Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket, and Atari Lynx, and TurboGrafx 16 cartridges on there. And I have the Game Gear one. I got that before I even got my real system that I actually pre-ordered. That's another reason why I wanted it. To test it out to make sure it friggin' worked. And it works perfectly. It's literally amazing. I can't sing the praises enough of the Analogue Pocket. Now, the only thing I don't like about Analogue as a company is how long they take to ship their stuff. And like how long it takes to like manufacture. It's almost like limited run, but not as bad. Like they don't hold on to your money for nearly as long as limited run does. Because I'm honestly getting sick and tired of limited run games, to be honest. And I've done a video on them in the past, but I don't know. It would really depend on what else they produce if I buy something again. Because I just got Snow Bros, and I ordered that back in April of last year, and I just got it like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I think. And one of the things has a problem. The soundtrack CD has a problem, and I reached out to them, and I haven't heard back since their first response. So limited run is kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, but Analog, I kind of get why they hold on to your money, but like the shipping they charge is like crazy, and I realize it is shipping from directly from China, but I really think they should try to like cut out China, like cut out the middleman and like ship it to like somewhere in California or wherever Analog's US headquarters are, if they even have any. If they don't, they should look into doing that because that would really cut down on shipping costs for people that want to buy the system. Like I get it, it's probably cheaper on their end to do that, but they should really look into that for the future. And what the future holds for Analogue, I have no idea. Like after this Analogue Duo comes out, I have no idea what the future holds for this. I know they have this thing called Analogue OS on the Pocket that has like save states. You can save states and stuff like that, load states and like screenshot, and there's a couple other things you can do with it. But could they port that to the other consoles or make like revamped versions of the NTs, the Super NT, the Mega SG that run on Analogue OS where you can make save states? Maybe. Are they currently looking into doing an N64? Maybe. I don't know if the FPGA can actually do N64 because emulation with N64 isn't perfect anyway. So that might be a little far off, but maybe someday. Who knows? Maybe like a PlayStation system, like just for PS1. Who knows? That'd be kind of cool. Region-free PS1. Maybe PS2 down the road. That would be something I would definitely buy. An Analogue FPGA PS2. Like that would be dope. Not saying that's gonna happen, but that I would probably buy. But yeah, I just want to talk about Analogue because I don't really talk about them a lot, but I really enjoy the system or the systems I own, and put my thoughts out there because why not? It's my YouTube channel. I can do whatever I want. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't know why I said that, but I mean, it is my channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, consider supporting me on Patreon. It really helps out a lot. $1 a month. That's the first tier. You can look at my page if you want to support me. But the challenge to go to my favorite peeps, my shout out peeps, Matt Y99, Reaper7734, Title Cal, Eric Fernandez, AJ Gadawa, Oliver Frederick, Zual Adfi, It's Me Charliz, Joe, William Swift, Riff 17, Charlie McKean, Reverse Security, Zoo Hall, Artistic Tomahawk, Freelayab, Just Drew, RM Unsane, HHG Fan, George McConnell, X Taintus, Elliot Scott, and Benjamin Towan. Whew. Man, there's a lot of people that support me. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more stuff about the analog systems and the pocket and all that stuff and what it can do, let me know in the comments below, and I'll look into doing videos in the future, especially when I get the pocket dock. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.